Back in our config.php file, which you'll find inside of the inc folder, first thing we need to do is to rename the classes for the classes dir constant to library, which is basically the new name for our classes folder. Now if we scroll down, and after the emails path, if I copy this catalog path here, paste it above, and it's going to be catalog dir now for the directory, and the directory will simply be, without this root path, media catalog, and then we're going to replace this media ds catalog here with catalog dir, and I want to actually put it separately and just and that's it, just put some comment here, catalog images directory. And after all this, if we create a few new lines, scroll up, if I copy this last constant here, put some comment smtp, and I put the first one, actually put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Indent for all this define. Obviously it doesn't matter, but I like to keep things organized. If I scroll up a little bit, and for the first one we will have smtp underscore use, which will indicate whether we're using smtp or not, and by default I'm going to set it to false. Then we're going to have smtp underscore host, and I'm going to leave the value set to just a blank screen, just nothing basically. Then smtp underscore username, and exactly same thing, it's going to be blank. And then we have smtp underscore password, and again same thing. Then smtp underscore port. All this is going to be used later on with our contact form and any other form that you might be having on the website. Then smtp, obviously form when you're sending any emails, smtp ssl, and again this is going to be set to null. The reason being is because we're not using smtp, we're not going to be using smtp, but you will have an option. We create the code obviously so that you can use smtp as well if you want to send your email. So that's our smtp section in the config file. If we scroll down, now we are going to use create a few constants for the database, so that we're gonna store all these values basically in one place, rather than as we had before, basically separately in our class together with our classes. So I just copy this smtp ssl. I'm going to rename it to db underscore host, and db host. Obviously make sure that you provide all of the details correctly here. By default my host is going to be local host. Then if we paste it underneath, db next one is going to be name, database name. Again, you can choose whatever you have. I mean, you're going to choose whatever you have with your projects here. Then db user, and the last one is going to be db pass for the password. Obviously put all of the right values here in order to be able to connect to your database. You can find them inside of the library ssd and obviously dbase file when we have them all specified up to date. Now we're going to move everything to the config file, and then we're going to deal with this inside of the new database file, which, as you know, we're going to be creating using PHP PDO. Now, after all this, if we scroll down, our set include path, we're going to remove this path dsmod dir, because we're no longer going to be pointing to our mod folder. Next, after the root path.ds.inc dir, which is basically our include path, include folder here. Then we're gonna go for another real path, and this time we're going to put classes underscore path. We've removed this path from within the autoload. Now we've added this to our include path, so we know straight away, I mean the system will know straight away that he should be looking for any obviously files with the namespacing within these two directories, because we're pointing this directly on our include path.